Good afternoon and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show, where we are on site. This time not in Boyles of Killorglin, but in beautiful Beaufort. We're here at Ger's house and we're going to be taking a look at some of the interesting gardening ideas and some good tips for how he designed his garden. So here we are in beautiful Beaufort and we are at the residence of one of our regular gardeners, Ger, who is here and happy to show us around, and he's going to be showing us some great landscaping and stuff he's done, and Trish will be critiquing every single thing, won't you, Trish?
I will, of course, yes.
How are you doing, guys? Thanks for having us, Ger.
No problem. No, it's just something different to show, to show our listeners and people there watching on Facebook, just to see how the do's and the don'ts.
Yeah. And as you said yourself, there's plenty of don'ts that you've done as well. You know what?
Yeah.
We're no professional horticulturists around here.
Listen, I think we're doing 2 shows over the next 2 weeks, but I'll definitely show you the areas that are not so good. But we've here now the first bit that we're going to show you is just the low maintenance part of the house.
The low maintenance and the landscaping and design.
Very, very little work.
Yeah.
But the work that I did was in the planning just to get it right.
Absolutely. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're as Ger said, we're going to do 2 parts to the show here at Ger's house, and we're just going to go things like landscaping, planning, and of course low maintenance, and just the things you can really individualize your house or your area. It doesn't have to be a big huge house, it could be a small area, and we could really kind of turn your garden into a beautiful space. So Trish, as well, we're going to talk about the shrubing and everything like that. Where do we start, Ger?
I suppose the planning is the key. So I suppose it's a new built house that I have here, so all the planning went in at the start. For the front of the house, I wanted low maintenance, but I wanted a little bit more formal, a little bit more structured. In next week's show, we'll show you the boundary areas and stuff, and the cottage garden kind of feel to the garden.
Yeah, so we're starting just here with the front of the house, Ger, and what your thinking was low maintenance?
I suppose I didn't want really steps going into the front door, which is behind you there, Alan. So I wanted kind of more of a platform up. I don't like the look of, personally, I didn't like the look of a step up onto a door. So I kind of said, right, I have a big area, so I said I'd put 2 beds either side of the house, and the 2 beds kind of came into 4 beds. So
okay, yeah.
I have a footpath up the centre of both beds, and I didn't want the concrete field in, so I went with a 20mm outdoor porcelain tile,
right?
Which is very easy to maintain. I don't have to power wash it.
You were just telling me even just a quick mop is
a mop.
Good.
Even after a shower of rain, I just go out with a bit of a mop. The only bit of dirt that I get is from the birds giving
for a little bit of a gift.
A bit of a relief.
Yeah.
So yeah, we put an outdoor grout in between the tiles. Then we carved it as well, just to give it a bit of definition. But very little maintenance. So when I was planning it, I didn't want a lot of wastage in the tile, so I actually built the footpaths to the width of the
actual tile.
So there was very little cutting in it.
Now it's good, obviously, because you had the space to do that, and you know it's great to have that option. And of course, you also said as well too that it keeps its colour.
It keeps its colour, yeah.
Which is really good.
With some concrete items, they do lose their colour over time, and they do tend to get the algae and the blackening. With this, I think it's down 2 years now. The cleaning is, I'd say, once every 2 or 3 months, a quick mop, and that's it. It takes about 10 minutes to do. It's very low maintenance. We do have a selection of tiles in store. I suppose with the tiles, it's hard to have 30-40 square meters on site at all times. So we kind of order into to whatever you need. So if you need 10 square meters, we can get you 10. If you need 100, we can get you 100. But we have different styles as well. We have wood effect, we have there's a big selection. They're only after coming in the last few weeks, so we're only getting used to it ourselves as well. But we can go through options with people.
Yeah. So that's one thing, Trish, as well. I was just kind of saying that you know, the planning aspect, we do talk about it a lot, about flower beds and stuff, but even a big project like this is important. It's something you guys do, obviously, maybe during the winter time and stuff, when people kind of come in with that sort of planning, is
That's right, yeah. Like, I mean, obviously during the summer we're very busy, so during the winter time, if you want to, there's no problem coming in. If you're thinking of building a house, you're confused as to where to put the paths, where to put the driveway, do we put lights in, what height of lights do we put in, come in, we'll go through that with you. Even if you want to bring in your builder or whatever, that is an option that you have, and it's like a lot of people would have no idea as to
where to start. What to do.
I mean, the house is a huge thing in itself, building the house and what to do with that, but the outside is just as important, because it's the outside that enhances a house at the end of the day, and it's to get it right. Even as Ger was saying, he put down the curbs on either side of his path to suit the size of the curb. So, like, forward thinking, if he went straight in and put down a path and then afterwards came, my slab now is 2 foot in length and I have to cut them, and it's all extra labour and extra cost and wastage as well.
Or if I made it too wide, Alan, the patch just wouldn't look right.
Exactly, which would have been worse then, like, so it's very, very important to forward plan, and we can help you.
Yeah, and I suppose on the lighting side of it then as well, like, we'll have Pamela on later in the year, and we had her on last year as well.
That's right,
yes.
Pamela's in store once a week as well. You can book an appointment with her, and she can go through all the outdoor lighting options with you. Again, if you are building a house, it's important to get all that done as you're doing it, because you don't want to be rooting up the garden afterwards and making a mess. I suppose the other side of planning a garden as well is to get the stone right. So we the stone I have here is a kind of a greyish slate. If I put a gold stone or a light gold or
it
pink granite,
it wouldn't really reflect even the area, you know what I mean? It kind of
it wouldn't, no, it matches up with the stone. So again, the likes of that, if you have stonework in the house, or if you have a certain colour painted into the house, and if you are doing a bed like this, again, take a couple of photos and we can try and match up the stone to the house.
Okay, so talk then as well about plant selection, Trish.
That's
so
right,
selecting the right plants as well is very important. Like Ger said, he's gone with low maintenance and he's used the stone. So talk to us a bit about the plants.
See, a lot of people now, they're out working, like Ger himself now, he's out working 5-6 days a week, like, or whatever. So you want low maintenance in parts of your garden. So you can see here now, because we're in the countryside as well, a lot of people think we can't have the formal look. But we'll see in next week's show, he doesn't just have the formal look just at the front garden, he has the informal look and the surrounding areas around it. So what he's gone with here is a lovely Pittosporum. They're a lovely little small plant. They grow into a little ball. Very, very easy manage. Like you can see now, the plant, people on Facebook will see the plant that we have that we sell in the garden centre, right? That's the size of it. People look at it, I need about 10 of them now in this spot, but you don't. That's it, a year later. It has grown that much. So just to take into consideration, plants do grow, do spread. In between each Pittosporum, we have about 1 metre of spacing between them. Again, boxes, the box hedging, that can be used as well. But this one is a nice flowy one. It's a nice light green. It just brings up the colour of the house then as well.
It does, Jared. It works lovely with the stone.
With the stone,
And just I meant to say to you, sorry, Jerry, you were to put underneath the stone and everything like that.
I do have the teram, and as you can see there,
the fabric.
We'll take a picture of it later. There is, I have about 1 inch to 2 inches stone over it. And again, like, I haven't weeded this bed in 2 years. 2 years, I would say.
Wow.
So like it does make a big difference. It just takes that, that work out of it as well. And with the Pittosporum, I went with a Pittosporum because the boxes, they're kind of cut a bit too tight. I wanted kind of something that was a little bit more flowy. So I went with the Pittosporum golf ball. And in between it then, just to give it a splash of colour during the summer, I put in geraniums. So I have 2 different ones. I have a blue Roseanne and I have Russell Pritchard. And again, it's just to give that colour. They're just about popping into colour now. So you're looking at colour from June, July, August, September and into October.
That's perfect. And as you said, there's a lovely kind of pinks and purples and blues.
And
that adds a beautiful
background. They will die away over the winter, but I have the Pittosporum then just to
keep that evergreen.
Look.
And again, then Ger was thinking of the colour of the plants as well. because the pink and the blue, they enhance the slate that's there, they enhance the stone that's in the wall. So, you know, you want to just think of colours to match everything around.
Yeah, to reflect your own house. And
exactly.
to say the house could be painted. Like this, obviously, we're talking about new builds and stuff like that. But if you wanted to maybe, you know, you're kind of finished work and maybe you're retired and you want to redesign your garden, there's so many options at Boyles, and you guys can...
100%.
Oh, yes.
Even if you have an old garden that you want to kind of
reinvigorate.
Exactly. Again, just take photos, take maybe a few videos. Again, like this time of the year probably isn't the best time to come into us because it is so busy, we can't give the time. But over the winter we have that extra bit of time that we can go through gardens with people and sit down and just have a good conversation about it.
Yeah, and you're the main reason as well that we wanted to bring the listeners on Facebook out here to your house as well, and Trish touched on it there, is to show that even within a short space of time, what you see in the garden centre can just become so much more in a short space of time.
Yeah,
Exactly,
it just like a lot of this planting has been done in the last year. Like we'll show you, there'll be a bed that we'll have on next week now. Like it was only planted a year ago, and it's
massive.
huge.
It's
like it is
now,
massive.
Such bloom, great colour.
Yeah, so no, like every garden is different. Like I have big problems with wind.
Yes, we do, and I'm sure the listeners might be hearing a little bit of the wind. I did mean to mention that as well.
So next week we'll go through maybe the shelter side of it. And again, rabbits are a big problem in a lot of gardens around the county as well at the moment. And I put in a couple of preventions
measures
to try and solve that issue
next week. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well listen, that's great. That's just a little bit of a sample of what we can do in regards to ground cover into little beds at the front of the house, and adding a little bit of colour and stone and beautiful use of some of the things you can find in the Boyles of Killorglin. We're now going to have a little pause, and we're going to take a look at something else you can find in most garden centres around the country, and we'll be having a little look at some roses. So now we have brought some beautiful colour all the way from Boyles of Killorglin, the garden centre, here outside Jer's house, and the roses are popping, guys.
They sure are.
They are full of colour, and I've actually had this one over beside me purposely because the smell of it is amazing. Tell me, let's start with this one. We have to start with Arthur Bell.
You won't get a nicer scented rose than that.
And it's beautiful colour as well. It's such a beautiful light yellow.
And you can even see the way the buds are there behind the big rose.
Yeah.
That they're starting off with the red and then the yellow, and then they open out into this. It's a beautiful yellow. It's a fabulous yellow.
I'd say this has to be one of the most popular ones.
It is one of the most popular, yeah. Like the smell, just for the smell alone, it is stunning. And it's so bright looking as well.
I might just hold this for the rest of the show. No,
and the leaf on that is a lovely light green glossy leaf on it, and it's lovely.
Yeah, but you can see how green it is there now, Alan. Like we're spraying every 2 weeks to keep every 10 days nearly to keep the black spot off it.
Okay.
And you can see there when you lifted it up, it is on the dry side as well. So we don't overly water our roses. We keep them nearly on the dry side because they keep much better. If we were saturating them in water, if they were in damp soil, they'd be completely black at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
And a nice sunny place then for roses as well, and of course the sun then brings out the scent.
Brings out even more. Yeah.
Now that particular rose goes to about 2.5 feet high and bushes out then to about 2.5 feet wide then as well. So
that's one thing as well, guys, because just as we were bringing them over, you were telling me about them. Each rose has their own specific dimensions. Like they can grow out, they can grow up, they've got singular buds and lots of other ones. So tell us about that one, Trish.
That one now is a little miniature rose. As you were saying, that one grows to about 2.5 feet, but this one only grows, it's near enough to its height now at the moment. It might go to about 1.5 foot.
So what's that one called, Trish?
It's Rosa Boyle is the name of it, Boyl. So
it's a nice patio rose.
Exactly.
Patio
rose. So they're ideal even in containers as well. But you can see the roses on them are quite small, but you get a fine big cluster of roses on it.
Absolutely, everyone who's listening on the radio, there is literally, I'd say, maybe 10 or 12 little mini pink roses. They're all just kind of clumped together, but it gives a beautiful look.
It does. It's fabulous, and that is actually hardy then as well, because the roses are small and they're so compact.
so tightly together.
Yes,
You won't.
they don't blow around. Even up here now in Jerry's
Even
garden.
up in Jer's windy garden.
they'd be fine.
Yeah, because the carpet rose, it's very similar to the patio rose.
Okay.
These come in pinks, whites, yellows, reds. But again, it's a low-growing rose, and it's a similar flower to the patio rose. It wouldn't be as big as the flower bundas.
Okay.
But again, this is a flower from now, and it'll go right through till September, October. Again, you can see all the buds. It's
Loads,
just
yeah,
ready
to
to
go.
pop. But again, it only grows about 2 to 2.5 foot.
And we were making a joke about it, but anyone who is living by the coast or anyone in windy areas, they would be
The carpet rose would be better, yeah.
because they literally keep down away from
Yeah,
all
but
the
the flower smaller as well. Like if you had the flower bundas or the David Austins by the coast, they're just going to blow to bits. There's going to be petals everywhere.
Petals.
So you want something that's a little bit more compact.
Yeah.
And the bigger roses, because they're so heavy then, they'd be more prone to break
breaking
in
off
the
and
wind
collapsing,
then as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Now this one has got a lovely name.
It has.
For your eyes
For
only.
your eyes only,
Oh.
Alan. So this is a beautiful one now. It grows to about 2 feet high and spreads out about 2.5 feet. The petals on them are absolutely fabulous. You have to go onto Facebook now or see a picture of that or come into the garden centre. On the outside is a white petal, but on the inside then, right in the centre, it's a lovely winey colour. And
then
that's
the lovely
absolutely fabulous.
the yellow centre then as well.
Exactly,
too.
and
It's
even the
just
bud in it
stunning.
then is kind of a creamy yellow. So you kind of get different colours as it goes on in the season. And as Ger was saying, it goes on then till about October, November. But you can see here in the middle then we've got one that's just finished flowering. That
Okay.
came off easy, or else just pull them off. So deadheading is quite important in roses as well.
Yeah.
Keep deadheading throughout the summer. It lasts much
The
longer.
deadheading, and as you mentioned, you're getting the
spray and
yes,
on them.
yeah, no.
Because it has been very mild, and that's ideal black spot.
Oh, it has, yeah.
Thriving
It's very mucky, kind of
conditions.
humid weather as well with the last week.
Yeah.
So that is ideal for him.
That's another beautiful one.
It
there.
is a stunning red. It's a trumpeter rose, but again, it's deep kind of a red. You can see it's quite a full flower. And again, like we keep repeating every week, deadhead. Every maybe once a week, just go out, just take off the dead flower, and you can see there'll be another
other
rose
buds
to
will benefit.
come in and take over from it. So no, keep feeding and get your spray on every 10 days.
Now, Alan, I have another one. I'm getting all the good names
You're getting all the
here.
good ones in. We're nice and easy going, Trish.
Easy going. That is the variety of this one. It's a shrub rose. This can grow to about 5 to 6 feet high.
Okay.
So it's quite a large
again,
one.
that can need a little bit of height. So they'd ideally be good against a wall.
Yes,
Trish, I guess,
yeah,
would they?
but I mean they will bush out about 4 to 5 feet wide as well. So
Okay.
they're a substantial shrub. You can plant these in amongst shrub beds as well, but just to keep them well fed then with the rose feed. But this now is a beautiful orange.
It's
I
a
mean that
lovely,
is
light
absolutely
kind of
fabulous.
orange, yeah,
And again, like the
beautiful.
Arthur Bell earlier, it's a nice glossy green leaf in it, quite healthy. Again, like even if you see the green fly, usually the green fly is up near the buds, coming up the stem there. You can either pull it off with your fingers, you can use washing up liquid and water, a tiny drop, put it
Yeah.
over if you didn't want to be using chemicals, or you can use the rose clear then as well.
Yeah, sure, because you had said that as well, and that's important because sometimes if the roses are in amongst other plants and stuff, you can't really kind of spray chemicals.
Yeah,
so
for next week's show we'll go through that because let's say like I've Nepeta mixed in with roses in the front of my house, and I don't want to kill off the bumblebee,
damage
so I
the
can't
other
be using
plants,
some
yeah.
chemicals.
Which is
So
important,
literally I just go
yeah.
around with my fingers every so often and just whip them off.
Excellent. All right, and what?
so
what
this
the
one-
in front there.
This
Yeah.
one is a pink flower bunda. I'm not going to try and pronounce the name of it. It's in German.
It's some sort of a German name. Yeah.
But again, it's a rich cerise colour. It's a fabulous rose, and you can see there's one dead flower there that's ready to come out.
Secateurs are out, folks.
So the secateurs, and just nip it there, just close down to the bud, and you can see straight
Yeah.
away there's 4 new buds
Four
coming
ones that
through.
are,
Yeah.
it's like if anything, it's covering them up. So
It is, yeah,
it's
yeah.
is,
No, so
yeah.
that'll
freeing
do the world of good. In a couple of days now, they'll be fully in bloom.
And would it be that quick, Ger? A couple of days?
yeah, you'll be with
Surprised,
this
yeah.
one here. You'll be looking at, I'd say, maybe mid next week. The likes of them, and maybe a little bit after it. But yeah,
Right.
there's a constant repeat of flowers coming in them.
Okay, excellent. Now, you've got our little flower of the week, but it should be
I
nearly
have
flower
indeed.
of next week,
It
kind
should.
of. Because...
Sunday week is a special day for all the dads in the county and the country.
Indeed, yeah.
And this one then is a special dad. It's a hybrid tea rose. So it's fabulous to give to your dad,
Yeah.
and it's a lovely red flower on it. And again, now that goes into a big flower. As I was saying earlier, the floribundas are the smaller flowers in clusters, and the hybrid tea is a very big rose.
Okay.
So that is fabulous now as well. So it's a nice little present to give to your dad.
But you know what realistically is going to happen there? That the dad is then going to cut the rose off and give it to the
Oh
water.
my goodness.
So I think there's a bit of cuteness going on there, Ger. What do you reckon?
Oh, definitely.
If any dads out there get a hybrid tea rose, you'll know what you're going to have to do
Yeah.
when it comes to the full flower.
There's another motive behind it.
Absolutely.
But that's
brilliant.
a lovely one to have in the garden then as well.
Yeah,
Like,
excellent.
So we would have a lot of roses in stock at the moment. They are all coming into flower. The one thing about our roses is we have to keep them outside. We don't like keeping them in under the sheltered area.
Yeah.
So if you don't think we have roses, they are in
They're
the
down
garden.
the back.
They're
They are
down the back, yeah.
Yeah.
So do call in. Brilliant.
but,
Fantastic. Well, listen, that is pretty much does it for part one of Ger's gardening expose. We're exposing your garden to the listeners and to everyone watching on Facebook as well. So listen, that's pretty much for part one this show for this week. Do join us next week where we'll be covering more of great ideas on landscaping, little ideas to keep out rabbits and lots of stuff. And we'd love to see your pictures. Do send them in to us here at the Radio Kerry, Alan at radiokerry.ie. Send them in on the Facebook page. You can just like and comment and put any questions underneath the video as well, and the guys in Boyles will also be available as well too. So listen, we're going to have great fun. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back again next week here from beautiful windy Beaufort. Until next week, Ger and Trish, thanks very much.
Thanks, Alan.
Take care. Happy gardening.